WFMT for about 27 years as an announcer, and it is such an honor and a privilege to present Arnold Voketaitis to you for induction into the Lithuanian American Hall of Fame. Long before I knew Arnold personally, I was a great admirer of his artistry through his recordings and reputation in the music world. Little did I know that he would one day become a friend. Arnold has had one of the most distinguished careers of any American bass baritone in history. And I would like to just take a moment to list just a very few of his many important accomplishments. From the early beginnings, I want to mention this first of all, his Lithuanian heritage was very, very important to him as he informed audiences, either from the stage or in printed programs, of the occupation that the country had to endure until its independence in 1991. He regularly submitted articles to various newspapers concerning Lithuania's struggles to maintain its identity, culture, and language through those difficult 50 years of suppression. And I might also add that he's been very good at correcting us at WFMT on our Lithuanian pronunciation, which we do appreciate when we solicit further instruction. Arnold has enjoyed extraordinary success in the music world, perhaps principally on the operatic stage, although not exclusively by any means, performing in principal roles with every major opera company in the United States, Mexico, Canada, Central and South America, and Spain, including the Metropolitan National Company, Lyric Opera of Chicago, as John just mentioned, San Francisco Opera. He scored major successes with the title role in Bartók's Bluebeard's Castle, Basilio in Rossini's Barber of Seville, in which he sang in 64 different productions. That's not performances, that's different productions of that one role. Reverend Blitch in Carlisle Floyd's Susanna, Rocco in Beethoven's Fidelio, but perhaps his most successful role was as Don Quixote in Massenet's opera after Cervantes. When he scored a major success with that role with the Mexico City Opera, one reviewer wrote, "We would not be lying if we stated that Cervantes and Massenet envisioned Voketaitis as the future creator of their work." I've seen a video recording of it, and I have to admit that when I sang the role of Don Quixote earlier this year with an opera company in Chicago, I learned much, maybe I'll say I borrowed much from his interpretation, as imitation is the sincerest form of flattery. It's brilliant. In the concert hall, he has appeared with almost every major orchestra in the country, including the Chicago Symphony, San Francisco Symphony, St. Louis Symphony on numerous occasions, a very special relationship with them, the Cleveland Orchestra, Philadelphia Orchestra, Pittsburgh Symphony, Milwaukee Symphony, Dallas Symphony, the Mormon Tabernacle Choir, the list goes on and on. As a recording artist, which is how I first got to know him, he is heard on 6 recordings, was nominated for a Grammy Award for Prokofiev's Ivan the Terrible with the St. Louis Symphony, conducted by Leonard Slatkin. He was active in the Artists Union of the American Guild of Musical Artists, which honored him with its Gold Lifetime Award. And towards the end of his performing career, he held the position of Director of Opera Theater at DePaul University, as well as Artist in Residence at Auburn University, where he directed together in both those places over 14 operas. Perhaps his greatest pleasure was being honored in 2009 when the Lithuanian President Valdas Adamkus presented him with the country's High Order of the Grand Duke Gediminas Ordinal for his 50 years as opera artist, pedagogue, director, and in promoting Lithuania through his artistry. And before the award is presented, I want to excerpt from a letter to Arnold, written in 1989 by a man who was my mentor, a legend in classical radio, Norm Pellegrini. And his words perfectly echo mine. "Arnold, you are not only a meticulous, responsible, communicative professional, but also the caring, concerned, warm person those of us lucky enough to have had personal contact with you have always found you to be." Congratulations, Arnold Voketaitis.
Peter, my life flashed before me. I didn't realize I did that much. And I'm very tired. This gentleman, I am personally honored that he would accept to do this evening. Because that glorious voice of his. Because you're looking here, I used to sound like that. But at 85, I'm thankful that I can move my lips. Peter, I used to be as tall as you. There was a time. But anyway, I have great reverence for this man. And when I get called by the great director in the sky, he's going to have a lot of my personal music. He'll do with it whatever he wants, burn it or whatever. I am honored that he is here, and I thank him with a Lithuanian embrace. I'm not finished. Peter mentioned in 2009 when President Adamkus and the nation of Lithuania honored me with this Gediminas medal. When they were announcing my name, my life, and my parentage was completely before me, and I was a basket case, because I was thinking, my parents, the beginning of the 20th century, how they must have struggled to leave the Tsarist times and get to this country of prosperity. Well, I was a basket case there, as I am a tentative basket case now. I'm getting close to it. Very touching that one's lifetime of work is appreciated by many. But the art form itself is not easy. It seems to be on the bottom shelf of priorities in America. And that's a sad state of affairs. And I want to ask a question. Would you please raise your hand? How many here have been to an opera or symphonic concert? I'm impressed. So there's hope. There is hope. When I was receiving this medal in Vilnius and announcing my name, I like to tell this story because even though I understand Lithuanian about 85%, grammatically I am still in kindergarten. And when they mentioned my name, my wife kept hitting me in the ribs with her elbow, saying, I'll say this in Lithuanian, Nesakyt nieka lietuviškai. Don't you say anything in Lithuanian. Well, for those who know me, sometimes that's hard to do. It reminds me of what the French writer Voltaire said. He said, anything stupid to be said is sung. So that means for 50 years I've been doing a lot of beautiful, stupid things, and I appreciate it. I have two more incidences. Years ago when I was, for those who remember Arthur Godfrey, who was a radio host and television host, very prominent. And when I had been in the Army Band, I was classical soloist with the United States Army Band. And I was told by a producer, what have you, when you get out of the Army, come on the Talent Scout show. So I did. And I was fortunate to win. So then I had about 12 weeks of engagements over a period of two or three years. Now, celebrities of that nature are, well, they have their moods. So I knew I finished singing one day, And I knew Arthur was in a good mood because he said, you know, ladies and gentlemen, it doesn't matter the name one has, it's the talent that perseveres. So I think I had an opening there. I said, you know, Arthur, I'm considering shortening my name. Oh, and he said, what was that? Well, I'm thinking of shortening it from Arnold Voketaitis to Sam Voketaitis. Now, there's a saying, never leave the stage without having people smile. So I want to set up the situation. It took place at the New York City Opera, and I was singing Mephistopheles. Now just picture this. I want you to use all your illusionary abilities. Faust, the opening scene, this old philosopher who's disgusted with life and his inabilities to resolve the mysteries of nature. And suddenly in the background, he hears the Easter music, and he's so fed up, and he shouts out in the glorious tenorial phrases, "À moi, Satan! À moi! Come, come!" Okay, hold that thought for a moment. Now the stage, there's a big long table with piles of books and some vials and this and that. And when he says, "À moi, Satan," I, as Mephistopheles, is standing behind the table on a hydraulic lift. And suddenly when the music hits, "À moi, Satan, à moi," and the orchestra, ba, 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 ba. And it's time now that the hydraulic lift would be going up slowly, and there would be diversions of exploding pots, boom, 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 smoke. And there would be Mephistopheles, "Me voici, I am here." Now, fine technical rehearsal, fine piano dress rehearsal, fine, complete, opening night. "À moi, Satan," I'm standing there when I was looking like Peter. And the hydraulic lift did not go. I said, go to the stagehand. No, no. I said, well, is there any priests here? Get me up there. So they're pushing me, and suddenly I'm appearing on all fours. On one of the greatest entrances in opera. Where is Mephistopheles going to come from? Now, the tenor, may he rest in peace, he was a terrific colleague, but he had his moments. The orchestra goes da, on my fours, and the orchestra goes da dee dee, and there's a little laughter in the audience, just. And I come up, and then Mephistopheles' next line is, "D'où vient ta surprise? Do I surprise you?" And the tenor's there. Well, could you imagine? The audience went berserk, and I was. You have to hold your composure. So anyway, it's incidences like that make, well, the exploration of the arts, the pain and the suffering, the acceptance, the toleration of rejection, which is part of the business, as Vito and the beautiful Jillians would know about. I spent a couple days writing a speech. Having been in academia, I found it very academic. But I want you to tolerate and allow me to read the last paragraph. So, the pure joy and kindness of this type of a day for Anne, Vito, and myself must be looked at by us as if it were a star shining in our firmament, dazzling us a little, but filling each one of us, our families and friends with warmth and, yes, elation. Thank you, John. Thank you to the committee for bringing us all together. Thank you.
Arnold Voketaitis, welcome to the National Lithuanian American Hall of Fame.